Right, here we go. So, and we've got, yeah, excellent. So it looks right. I had a few problems there with connection. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go through a paper based on. Start off with the first question. 1 minute to do. Write 68 as the product of prime factors. There. Write 6 product of prime factors. Okay, so that's that one. So we've got, I think the best way to do this is factor tree. No matter how you do it. And if you want to do it 34 times 2 or something else, really matter, you can still split it up. So here's 34, here's 2. Then we've got 34 can be 17 times. So therefore we've got 17 times 2. I overwrite it as 17 times 2. You could write it as 2 squared times 15. Move on to the. So remember this is all non-calculator, so we could do 54 times 4.5. I've written a little grid out here, which is a nice easy way to do these multiplications. But 54.4 times 4, off you go. Okay, so that's how to do that. There's a nice little way of doing these questions. Write a little grid out 55. I haven't quite left myself enough space in my grid. I forgot to column out. Put that in now. And you draw these diagonals here. And if you do 4 times 4, you get 16. Do 4 times 5, you get 20. 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 5 is 20. 5 times 4 is 20. 5 times 5 is 25. And then you just add up the columns. 0, 6 plus 2 plus 0, 8. 1 plus 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 14. So take that 1 into the next one. 3, 4 into there, and then there. So our number is 24840. And how many decimal places we have? We had 2. So go 1, 2, and the answer is 244.8. Okay, remembering this is all non-calculator paper. So you now got to try and show the total area in the shaded region is 18x minus 30. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to have Okay, let's have a look at this one then. We've got a diagram in a triangle inside a rectangle, and we want to find the shaded region. So we know that area of the rectangle is x plus 6 times by 3x minus 5. We've got to take away from that the area of the right triangle, which is going to be the height times half the base. So we get half times 2x times 3x minus 5. So let's multiply this out. We get 3x squared plus 18x minus 30. And we're going to take from that another half times 2x is going to be x. X times 3x is 3x squared. And then x times minus 5 is minus 5x. So the 3x squareds will cancel. Minus 5x away from... Oh, wait a minute. Made a mistake there. Have a look at that. So as soon as I saw there's 18x here, I've got an 18x here, minus 5x and minus 5x. I can see I made a mistake here. It's a minus gives plus 5x cancel. That will leave 30. Right, another one of these algebra questions. So this again, you're 3 minutes to have a little 3 minutes on this. Off you go. Okay, let's have a look at this one. I'm going to work this out. This length here is going to be 3x because the whole length is 4x. This length here will be 2x because the midpoint m. This length is 2x and 4x. That. So we can see that this one will have an area of a half times 2x 4x, which will give us squared. Half times 2 times 4 is 4, and x times x is x squared. This one will give us a half times x times 2x. X times 2x is 2x squared. Half of that is x squared. This area here is 4x times 3x, which is 12x squared. Half of that is 6x squared. So therefore, our area of BMN will equal 4x all squared, because you've got a square of 4x by 4x, 4x all squared. And I've got to take away x squared, take away another 6x squared, and take away another 4x squared. 16x squared minus 11x. That will leave me 5 squared. Right, let's have a look at this question. Nice little straight line question. I'm going to give you 3 minutes to have a go at this. Okay, so let's write down an equation of a line that's parallel to the line y equals 3x. And a key thing is a 3. That gives us the gradient. Parallel to that, then the gradients must be. So anything has y equals 3x plus anything else, doesn't really matter. You can 4, 5, 6, minus 23, minus 2.3, pi, anything you like where the 4 is. So anything can go here, as long as you've got y equals 3x plus something. Now we want to find a line that's perpendicular to this straight line and through the point 6, 5. So to be perpendicular to we know that the gradient 3 times the gradient of our new line must be equal to minus 1. So the gradient will equal minus 1 over the gradient of our old line. So now the best way to do this is y minus y1 equals mx minus x1, where y1 and x1 are points on the line. So the point 6, 5. And the gradient is obviously m. That's the best formula you can for doing this. You can do this in my opinion. So you do y minus the y value from over here, which is 5, equals m, which is minus 1/3, times by x minus the x value from, which is 6. That's the equation of a line. Now it doesn't ask you to simplify it, so this would be a perfectly good answer to the question and get you full marks. If you do want to simplify it, the best thing to do is get rid of the fraction times by 3. So from there, I would get 3y minus 50 minus by 3. So 3y minus 50 brackets x plus 6. Add 50 to both sides. I get 3y minus x. And any variation on that, you could put 3y plus x equals eta still. And probably the neatest version of the equation of a line. Right, let's move on to this question. I'm going to give you 2 minutes to get it. You should be able to do it. Go. Okay, let's see how you got on. So at the end of 11 games, the mean score was 33 points per game. So therefore, the total point is 33.7. So if we do 10 times 33, it's 330. Plus another 33 will give us 100 points in total. At the end of 10 games, their mean score was 2 points higher. So that's 35 times by 10 equals 350. So therefore, the number of points must have been scored in the last game must have been 13 scored. Okay, total 11 games. Total 10 games. Therefore, last game. Quite clearly how we got out. So Jordan was correct. Right, here we go. A standard form question which without a calculator. So again, just another 2. Off you go. Right, here we go. This question. Do standard form questions without a calculator. You need to realize you need to split it up. So 3.5 times 10 to the 6 divided by 5 times 10 to the 3. And you can literally, because you've got this times here, you can actually split it up into that divided by that, that divided by that. That's the easy way to do the question. So we got 3.5 divided by 5 is equal. Well, let's do 35 divided by 5 is 7. But we've got 10 times less than that, so that's 0. 10 to 6 divided by 10 to the minus 3. Subtract the indices. And then we get 10 to the 9. So we've got 0.7 times 10 to the 9, which is not standard form. We need this number to be between 1 and 10. So you get, we times this by 7, we get, so I times that by 10, I must divide that by 10. That will be 10. We get 7.0 and 8. Here we go, little percentages question. That's non-calculated. So have a go at this. Again, another 2. Go. Right, here we go. So let's do this question. You've got to reduce by 30% in the sale. So therefore the original price, okay, there's the original price here. And we're going to work out our multiplier. So we're going to times by 0.7 to get 350. So therefore you have to divide by 0.7 to get the original price. So if we're going to do 350 divide by 0.7, we're going to be the same as 350 divide by 7 over 10, which is the same as 350 times 10 over 7. 7 into 350 is 50, because 7 into 35 is 5, and then 0 over 50 times by 10 gives you 500. Okay, so some of the numbers, some of the questions here got a bit messed up. Let's just do this one. Expand and simplify x minus 1, x plus 2, x minus 3. And again, I'll give you 2 minutes to do this question. Sorry about that, I just had to remove somebody from the chat room. Now, okay, we've got x minus 1 times x plus 2 and times x minus 3. I'm going to just do these two first. So x minus 1 times x plus 2 gives me x squared, minus 1 times x minus x, 2 times x is plus 2x, minus 1 times 2 is minus 2. And I want to times that all by x minus 3. But first of all, I'm going to group these two things together to get x squared plus x minus 2. And to do this, I'm going to times everything by x first. So let's just do that. So we get x cubed when I times that, plus x squared when I times this, and minus 2x when I times that. I'm now going to times minus 3. So minus 3 gives me minus 3x squared. Times by this gives me minus 3x. Times by this gives me plus 6. And group my terms. So I get x cubed. X squared minus 3x squared is actually minus 2x squared. Minus 2x minus 3x is minus 5x plus 6. Now, sorry about this. The questions to this have just gone a bit funny. I'm just trying to see where they all are. Right, I'm just going to, there's the graph here, and we've got to write down the turning points of the graph, write down the estimates for f of x equals 0, and use the graph for f to find an estimate for f of 1. So these are the three questions here. Okay, let's just see if I can get that all on the screen at the same time. Okay, hopefully you'll still be able to see the graph. I can just give you, it shouldn't take too long, but we'll give you 2 minutes because 3 different separate questions there for you to look at. Off you go. Okay, there's a couple of minutes to give you a chance to have to do that question. So the turning point of the graph is here, okay, right at the bottom here. So that's where the turning point is. So it's quite a straightforward one to find out. The x coordinate's 2 and the y coordinate's -6. So for the turning point, we got 2, -6. Write down the estimates for the roots when f of x equals 0. F of x equals 0 all the way along here. Okay, so therefore we've got estimates here, so that's about, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 squares across. That's going to be 1, so it's about a half there. So we can only estimate to about a half, 0.5 for that one. And this one, if that's going to be 5, that's also going to be 4.5. You can't do better than the nearest 0.5 on this graph. In the actual GCSE, you're probably going to get it to the nearest 0.1. Now we want to find an estimate for f of 1. So what we do is we put 1 into the question and we look out and see what we get. And it seems to be about -5. Okay, so again, remember this is non-calculator. Sorry about this, the things have moved since I've last looked at them. I'll try and correct that while you start the first half of the question. I'm going to give you 2 minutes to do both A and B of this. Actually, I'm going to give you just 1 minute. Okay, 1 minute. Do part A, and then I'll give you a chance to go through part B in a second. Okay, let's have a look at this one. So we've got y inverse proportional to 1 over x squared. So we know that y will equal k over x squared. So if we put the two values we've got into that, so we've got 1 equals k over 10 squared. So that implies that 1 equals k over 100. So therefore k equals 100 if we times both sides by 100. So now we know that we have a formula, y equals 100 over x squared. So if we square 1, that gives us 1. 100 divided by 1 will give us 100 here. 2 squared is 4, 100 divided by 4 is 25. 5 squared is 25, 100 divided by 25 is 4. Okay, probability question next. I'm going to give you 2 minutes to have a go at this question here. Right, let's look at this question. Now, actually, I'm going to need a bit more space for this one. So, John has an empty box. I'm not sure what's going to happen if I put some extra lines in there. Okay, so John has an empty box. He puts the red counters, the blue counters in the box. We know they're in the ratio of 1 to 4. So that means the probability of getting a red counter will be x over 5x, given how many counters there are in total and how many counters John's going to have of the red ones. So we know that's the probability of getting a red counter is x over 5x. So if we want to get 2 red counters in a row, therefore we're going to type the next red counter will be 1 less out of 1 less counters altogether. So times those two together and you get 6 over 155. And the smart amongst you notice we can just cancel out that x straight away to make life a little bit easier. So if I times throughout by the bottom on here and times throughout by the bottom on here, okay, I will get 155 times x minus 1 when I times by the green value. And I'm going to get 6 times all the yellow stuff. So it's going to be 6 times 5 times 5x minus 1. So I get 155x minus 155 equals 30 times 5 is 150x. 30 times minus 1 is minus 30. So subtract that 150 from both sides and add that 155 to both sides. I'm going to get only 5x. 155 minus 150 equals add 155 to minus 30, I'm going to get 125. So x must be equal to 25. Now if we go back to my original question, remember that x is the number of red counters I've got in the box. So if I've got the answer to my question. Right, this should be a nice easy question. It's not normally this easy at 14, but I noticed there was an estimation problem for you to do at this stage in last year's paper. I'm going to give you just 1 minute to have a go at this one though, remembering it's an estimation problem. I think there's just one more question to go after this one, so not long to go. So here we go. Margaret has some goats. The goats produce an average of 21.7 litres of milk per day for 280 days. Now this is an estimation problem, so therefore we don't need to be accurate. We just do one significant figure. That will be perfectly okay. So that gives us 6,000 litres to one significant figure, and each milk is in a half-litre bottle, so therefore we do 6,000 divided by half, which is the same as 6,000 times by 2, which gives us 12,000 bottles of milk as our estimate. So do remember, when you have these estimation problems, just round to the nearest one significant figure, and do deal with fractions, keep things in fractions because they actually make the estimation easier generally. Okay, actually I've got 2 more questions to go. So prove the sum of the squares of any 3 consecutive odd numbers is a multiple of 12. I'm going to give you 2 minutes to have a go at that. Okay, so we want the sum of squares of any 3 consecutive odd numbers is always 11 more than a multiple of 12. So you've got to start off with 3 odd numbers which come one after the other. Well, how do we get the algebra for an odd number? Well, we know that 2n is always even. So that's always even, then adding 1 to it is always odd. And there's lots of ways you can do the consecutive odd numbers. We could either take 2 off or add 2 on, because if you've got an odd number, to get the next odd number we add 2 on, get the next number odd number we add another 2 on. So square that, let's get the next odd number, which is going to be plus 3, because we're going to add 2 on. And then we're going to get the next odd number, which is going to be 5. So there's the square of 3 consecutive odd numbers. And now we've got to simplify that. So the first one is 4n. 2n times 2n is 4n squared. Plus, now this is where a lot of people go wrong. 2n plus 1 squared is the same as 2n times 2n plus 1 times 2n plus 1. So we need to do 2n times 1, which is 2n, and 2n times 1, which is also 2n. So that will give us 4n in total. 1 times 1 is 1. And let's just repeat that. So the 2n squared gives me 4n squared. Then I get 3 times 2 plus 2 times 3, which is 6n plus 6n, which gives me 12n. 3 times 3 is going to be 9. And then I'm going to get 4n squared plus 20n plus 25 for the last one. And then we're going to put these all together. So I've got a 4n squared, 4n squared, 4n squared. Just make that easy to see. So that gives me 12n squared. Then I've got a 4n, a 12n, and a 20n. So that will give me 8. So that gives me... No, sorry, adding the wrong things up. That gives me 16 plus 20n, so that's 36n. And then I've got 1, let's just highlight again, 1, 9, and 25. So that's going to be 35. Now it's 11. If this is going to be 11 more than a multiple of 12, let's take 11 off it. So write it, take 11 off that. That will leave me with 26. Sorry, tell a lie. Sorry, that will leave me 24. So I've got all of that plus 11. Now I want to show it's a multiple of 12. So I need to take out a factor of 12. I need to be able to write 12 times that. 12 times n squared will give me the 12n here. 12 times 3n will give me the 36n here. And 12 times 2 will give me the 24. So I've shown that, therefore, okay, it is 11 more than a multiple of 12. Okay, so when you're looking for multiples, you need to take their multiple out as a factor. That's going to be your key thing to look for. Okay, and if you do see one like this where it's always a certain number more, just take that bit out first before factorizing it. Okay, last question. Quite a tricky one if you're not good at vectors. So I'll try and get that all on one screen. Here we go. So you've got to try and prove that Cx is 2/5 of Cy. And the key points you've been given are that C to A is 3A, C to B is 6B, B to Y is 5A minus B, and you're also told that X is the point on AB, so it's on here somewhere, such that AX 2xb is 1 to 2. That ratio there is 1 to 2. Okay, I'm going to give you 3 minutes to have a go at this last question and see where you get to. So I want to prove that Cx is equal to 2/5 Cy. So first of all, I need to find out where x is. Okay, I need to find out where my x point is. So ax to xb is 1 to 2. So it's going to be 1/3 of the way along. So always write this as a fraction, so as you can remember, it's 1/3 of the way along. Now I'm going to find Cx, and C to x, I'm going to go via this route. I'm going to go from C to A to x. And to find out what AX is, I need to find out what AB is first, because I know that AX is equal to 1/3 of AB. So to find out AB is going to be going that way and then that way. So it's going to be minus 3A plus 6B. And you should underline the vectors A and B because you can't write in bold. So if AB equals that, then AX will equal 1/3 of that. And 1/3 of minus 3A is minus A, and 1/3 of 6B is 2B. So we've got AX. And I said I wanted to find CX, didn't I? So let's find CX. So CX is going to be that CA plus AX. So it's going to be that. So if I want to find CX, it's that plus that. Okay. So I'm going to get CX will equal CA, which is no, it's not minus 3A, it's equal to 3A. And AX is equal to minus A plus 2B. So combine that all together, I get 2A plus 2B. Now I want to try and find CY next. So CY. Now the way I'm going to get CY is I'm going to do it this way. Okay, I'm going to go from C to A to B to Y is how I'm going to do it, because I've got all those vectors. So CY, so I stick in the same color. So CY is equal to CA plus A. Sorry, I've got my disappearing pen on. So CY is equal to CA plus AB plus BY. And what you should notice when you're doing these, combining these vectors, you notice the end vector of the last one is equal to the beginning vector of the next one. So the A's match up and the B's match up. Okay, if those don't match up, you're probably going to get it wrong. So CA is equal to 3A. AB, we found up here, is minus 3A plus 6B. And BY is equal to 5A minus B. 5A minus B up here. So let's combine those all together. So we combine all our A's. And we get 5A. 3A minus 3A is nothing, plus 5A is 5A. And then I've got 6B minus B gives me 5B. So we can see straight away that's 5A plus 5B, that's 2A plus 2B. So therefore CX will equal 2/5 CY. And that's the last question I'm going to do for now. My suggestion is, if you got all of those right, you're fine. You're going to at least get an 8. You probably got a good chance of a 9. If you didn't get all of those right, what could be useful is to have a break now, have some supper, relax, and in your second prep, maybe a second half an hour, 45 minutes this evening, have another go at the questions you couldn't do that I've just done now, okay? And see if you can remember how I showed you how to do them. I wouldn't advocate doing any more than that at this stage. It's better to be well rested and ready for tomorrow. Good luck.